Welcome everyone to the show, Combustible Elements, real talk for real people. Here we try to put different ideas and perspectives together in a pot, heat it up, and get an explosion of knowledge and understanding. We understand that problems can only be fixed starting from the bottom to the top, building a great foundation for change and improvement. I'm Big Mel, and I'm joined by Ruben, aka the Monarch, and Aaron, the Hitman. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, thank you again for joining us for Combustible Elements. We got a serious topic today. It might be funny to some, but it's serious to others. I'm Big Mel. I'm joined by Ruben the Monarch, Aaron the Hitman. Today's topic, and pay attention, can men and women be friends? And I'm suspecting that this topic is going to be really generate, can men and women be friends, and not add the sexual side to it. So let's talk about this. We're going to start with Eric. I'm not even going to really go into the segue with it. We're going to go right into it. Let's go, Eric. What do you got to say about it?
I'm going to say yes. I think it's possible for men and women to be friends. That the hard part, like you said, is taking the sexual part out of it, which is the part that people get hung up on because they most people have underlying reasons why they're being friends with a certain person, and a lot of people are opportunistic, like they're just waiting for that opportunity to jump in there and save the day, or jump in there and be with that man or be with that girl. But I do think overall it is possible for men and women to be friends, to hold a space of friendship. I think that it is possible.
Okay, I'm going to let Ruben answer before I start my smart ass stuff. Go ahead, Ruben.
Um, I agree with Aaron. It is possible. Although it is possible, it kind of depends on what the background of the relationship is. You know what I mean? Like where is it stemming from? Because it's like anything is possible, but if you gotta if the relationship is stemming from the fact that y'all had a friendship that just never can like become anything more, it's different from somebody that's like, if you got a male and a female, and one of them at one point liked each other or whatever, and it just one is waiting for the for the opportunity, or waiting on the time when they can basically make their move. So you can keep it completely platonic and nothing happens if from the very beginning there's no mutual attraction of any sort from either parties. But if either one of the parties has some type of attraction, it can get messy.
Okay, so I suspect Aaron was talking about, and you talking about the old saying, the dick in the glass jar on the shelf. You know what I mean? Like the dude's just waiting for his opportunity. Um, I really don't prescribe by that theory. I personally feel like if someone is your friend, they're your friend. You know what I mean? And there is a boundary with friendship. Like, yeah, somebody can be attracted to you. You know what I mean? Women pick friends that they feel like they need to be in their circle from their looks too. You know what I mean? People pick friends over their looks sometimes too, not just over their personality. Like, can I hang out with this person? Can I go with this person? Guys do it too. Can this dude be my will man and this and that? So why does it have to be totally different if somebody is your friend? If somebody is your friend and you value that friendship and that's where it's going, it can stay platonic. I don't understand why it can't stay platonic, because when they're your friend and you're talking to them, you know what's going on in their relationship. So I'm assuming you met the person, you know what I'm saying? Well, some people are unscrupulous. I mean, we've been there and seen that. So, that may play into it, but the majority of the time, if somebody's your friend and you value that friendship and they not just an associate. See, because a lot of times people don't understand the difference between a friend and acquaintance. You know what I mean? You talk to an acquaintance. Your friend you confide in. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference there. So it's a different kind of relationship. So I think we should start at that point too. When people say, I know somebody and they my friend, are they really your friend? Are they an acquaintance? You know, we all the time say that.
You make
Go
a
ahead,
good
Ruben, you can say something.
you make a good point when you say you know, the difference between friends and acquaintance, because you're right. And I try to make that different. I try to explain that to my kids as far as like calling everybody their friends and everything. But when it comes to like a relationship between the male and the female, like it's one of those tricky things where like if y'all spending too much time together at one point or another and y'all know too much about each other, something can happen. You know, friendship or no friendship, even if y'all are, sometimes knowing too much about somebody could keep you away from them. Could be a good reason why you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna deal with this person because I know too much about them, and I know too much about their history. I know too much about their nuances, and you're like, yeah, that's what I don't want to have to deal with. But it could also have the opposite effect when you deal when you're really good friends with somebody, and you know you hearing their stories all the time, and they telling you everything that's going on, and you know you don't have somebody on your own. So I guess part of this conversation should also be if a male and female are friends, do they each have a counterpart? You know, because if one if the male is single or the female is single and they're friends, that changes the dynamics of their relationship also. Because now, you know, it's a different situation between a guy who has a female girlfriend and the guy has a girlfriend, or a girl who has a boyfriend and the female and the guy is single, and now they're exchanging conversations, they talk and they telling each other their problems and everything, and one may feel the need to console the other one because it's like, that's my friend. My friend is going through something.
Okay, now we are going to get into that, but I'm just going to make this comment on what you just said. Yes, somebody can know too much about you. Yes, somebody can exploit vulnerable times, because we all can be vulnerable at times, and you can put yourself, but the opposite could be true. I've had acquaintances growing up where they just tuck them in and spit them out. You know what I mean? Like from one dude to another dude, they were needy. They, you know, they had different parameters on how they did things. So even if I was attracted, it wasn't going to go nowhere because, as you said, you know too much. So if you know that it can be the complete opposite. If you know that they just not a good fit with most of the men, then you know you're not going to go there too. So let's not overlook that portion of it too. Yeah, it can be somebody and that attraction is there and you go there, but it could be somebody and you find out stuff about them personally. You like, yo, I don't shit. I ain't doing it no matter what situation I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's talk about significant others, because this topic usually comes into play when you start dealing with significant others. Because if you say you have an opposite sex friend and they actually a friend, not an acquaintance, then a lot of times people feel threatened from the beginning. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, why would you feel threatened? That's a sign of insecurity. If you feel threatened because your significant other has a opposite sex friend, like are you not secure in who you are and what you bring to the relationship, that you are insecure that she has a friend that's the opposite sex?
Are you asking me?
I'm just saying in general, not
Okay.
not necessarily
But
you.
now there's also situations where people aren't forthcoming with their information. Like, this is my friend. I want you to, like, we're together now. And see, that's another point too. Somebody shouldn't be dictating who your friends are if y'all not in a committed relationship. And then even then, it should be a conversation about it. They shouldn't be like, oh, we dating, so I don't want you being friends with that person. So if you're honest about your friendship with somebody, you're telling them at the beginning, shouldn't that alleviate insecurities? Because there's a lot of insecure people out there.
So at the same time, if you if you get into a relationship and then your partner already has a male friend, at some, you can say that you don't want them to be friends. You can be coming from a place that's not insecure, but the majority of the time, when men don't want their female partner to have another male friend, is because they're insecure. But
I think that goes both ways. But I mean, my point of view is like, if that female has the male friend and they've been friends for a long time, that doesn't necessarily mean that they had, you know, any kind of sexual attraction. Or maybe they did have sexual attraction and then they acted on it like a decade ago and saw that it wasn't for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people can't handle that. Me personally, I'm like, listen, clean up whatever stuff is going on, because you're never going to know what's going on unless that person tells you what's going on. But I can't all the time worry about everything that happens BM before Mel. You know what I'm saying? I'm worried about that time with Mel. So you can't, like, people going to live their life beforehand. People going to make mistakes and people going to make bad decisions, and they're going to say that decision wasn't for them, and we have a different kind of relationship now. So do you say, okay, this person doesn't help you raise your kids, help you get your first home, comes over, talks to the family, they're stable, they can't come over no more. You done met their wife, their kids, or whatever. And then all of a sudden you got to take this person out your life. Like, I personally don't think that's fair. What do you think, Ruben? You sit down there quiet.
I mean, it's a double-edged sword, man, because it's like, if you're in a relationship and you're married, and I can only speak from a married side of things, because it's like, once you have a family, that's your friend now. That's who your nucleus is. That's where it's all at. Now, if you got girlfriends as a female, it's different than having male friends, because the male friends, like, their perspective is always gonna be like, oh, this is what I would do. This is probably what I'm gonna be, what I'd be doing. So a relationship for a married woman with a male friend, it's almost like, I guess, counterproductive in a sense, because the time that you're spending with that male friend, you should probably be spending with your husband. And
okay, so
see that.
What if they had a relationship with that male friend like 15, 20 years before you even came in the picture, and it was a constant, not like they disappeared and came back, but it's been constant? You don't think that's unfair for you to be like, yo, this motherfucker got to go? I think that's unfair.
I'm not gonna say they gotta go, but they're gonna phase out. They're gonna have to phase out.
Well, see, that's one thing. Like,
unless y'all like sword fighting, but that's too, like, it's gonna have to phase out. It can only be one. There can only be one.
Well, see, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I agree with Ruben. Like, the friendship will probably end up phasing out, but like, for you to go into the relationship or the
you're not going to get the hell out, but you're going to casually tell them to step.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't even have to, because like you said, it will phase out. But at the same time, like, my point is, like, men and women should be able to have.
You can have the friend, but it's like, if you say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go hang out with my friend, and you're married, and you're a female, and your friend is a male. So, all right, if y'all got kids, like what y'all got? Movie night? Y'all got bowling night? What does the hangout consist of exactly? Because it's like, if the time that you're spending with them, you're not spending it with me, or vice versa. The time I'm spending with them, I'm not spending it with you. Somebody's gonna be upset about the situation.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't necessarily always have to hang out with your friends. Like, I'm friends with y'all. Like, we're not hanging out. Like, and we males. So, like, just because you have a friend that's the opposite sex, that doesn't mean that y'all have to hang out. Like,
what about mutual hobbies? Just hypothetically speaking. Now, you're right. You have kids and you get married or whatever, you definitely going to phase out friends. You definitely, because your time constraints, you definitely going to phase out friends. But what if that friend does the same hobby? You have the same hobby. you're not friends without having the same hobbies. And your
I mean, what-
significant other don't like that same hobby. Like say they like a certain kind of music and they want to go to a certain kind of concert, but your significant other don't want to go to that concert. You see what I'm saying?
That's different. Like, I mean, unless you go, so if my woman like Beyonce and he like Beyonce, and y'all going to a Beyonce concert, like, all right, y'all going to the Beyonce concert. I'm not going to.
Paying the tickets for this Beyonce concert.
Huh?
Who's paying the tickets? Because that's $900.
Well,
That's $900 to $1,000 for Beyonce concerts.
But I'm saying,
So-
if I'm paying for, if my woman want to go to a Beyonce concert, I'm paying her ticket. Like,
Right. But if I'm paying her ticket for her to go Beyonce, I'm going.
but that's the thing. I don't want to go. Like, if I don't want to go, I don't want to go.
You can't
See,
go.
you one of them
Beyonce
insecure
and
dudes
I'm
right
not
now. I
going.
can see where this is going. You just insecure. You like, nah, I'm going if I'm paying for one ticket. Like, you done sat up here and you were talking about, you was complaining about J. Cole and the price of that ticket.
Great
Remember?
show, by the way. Amazing concert.
Remember?
That I
And
went.
now you sit down here talking about you're gonna pay $200 more twice to go to that concert just because you like, she ain't going with that dude. Even though you may not feel threatened by that dude,
It's not a matter of
and you
feeling.
may not like Beyonce, but you're gonna be like, I'm gonna go just because she going with dude.
I don't like Beyonce. Realistically,
Not enough to go to a concert.
even if you know you're not going there to know the music, it's Beyonce. It's like seeing Cher or somebody. It's
That's
like,
not why you going though. That's not why you going though. It's obvious you going because you don't want dude to go with her. So
But
you
what if he
cut
still
him out.
go? What if he still go though? Like,
Y'all all three will be there.
Listen, call me insecure in that case. There can only be one. You hear me? I rule with an iron fist.
so are you allowed to have female friends then?
Who, me?
Yeah.
It's not even a matter of allowed. Like, I have friends. I have male and female friends. I have male and female clients. I'm sure my wife has male and female friends or whatever. But like, they're not hanging out.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, just because they're a friend doesn't mean you have to hang out. Like, that's not always an aspect of a friendship though.
Right.
Like, y'all don't, like, you got male friends that y'all don't always hang out. So it doesn't, you have female friends and you don't hang out. Like, it's possible to have a male friend or a female friend and y'all don't hang out. Like, they're still a friend if they're on that level. Like, if you still, reach out to see how they're doing, if you still.
Like, that's an acquaintance more than a friend though.
So what do you consider a friend? So is Mel your
Friends
friend?
hang out.
Is Mel your
Friends
friend?
hang
Huh?
Is Mel?
Yes.
Absolutely. Me and Mel done hang out a couple times already. We done been to fights. We done see people get their legs broken.
So you gotta have some trauma in there in order to be.
we done seen a couple good fights together, man. More than once. You know what I mean?
So that's what I'm saying. So the only way they're a friend is if you hang out with them.
I mean, I hang out with my friends. Like that's not like if we're friends, we hang out. If we're acquaintances, we know each other and we talk, we exchange pleasantries or whatever like that. But I hang out with my friends.
So you don't have any friends that don't live in Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania?
Many friends that don't live in Philadelphia. They used to at one point live in Philadelphia, and that's why I travel so much because I got friends all over the country. I got friends in Atlanta. I got friends in Virginia. I got friends in Maryland. I got friends everywhere. I got friends in Florida.
So do you have friends that you have spoken to that you haven't seen in like the last 5 or 10 years?
You said 5 or 10 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, so you have friends and you don't have to hang out, and your friendship is not contingent on whether you see them on a regular basis.
But the reality of it is, the ones I have, the one that I'm speaking of, like that's a childhood friend, and we haven't been as close because one, when I left Haiti, I stopped. I didn't have access, to communicate with people like I can now. And two, he lives in Florida now. You know what I mean? So if we don't talk on a regular, we don't chat on WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram or something like that, and we don't hang out, you kind of fall into the acquaintance category now, because for me, friends hang out.
All right, but you said not to keep picking on you, but you said you had female friends. So you got
Keep
females that
picking on them.
Do I what?
What was that you said, Aaron? I stepped away.
he said you said you got female friends. So you got females that you hang out with?
No.
So you only got female acquaintances. You don't have female friends.
I had female friends I used to hang out with, but
Well,
I don't hang out with
everybody can say they had female friends. Like
when I used to hang out with people. But that's what I'm saying. Like if we're hanging out, then we're friends. If we're not hanging out, we're acquaintances.
All right, Mel. So do you feel the same way, Mel? Do you have female friends?
I have more female acquaintances because I don't really hang out with no other females. But I had female friends years ago, but most of the female friends I had, they got other things to do where they moved on. One of them passed away at 9/11. So, but just to expedite this a little bit, when I was dealing with my wife, I had her meet my female friends. See, I always think there's a way for you to do that. You know, we serious now. This is my friend. I want you to meet him. I want you to like him. I want y'all to hang out together. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times when there are friends, that it gets clouded when significant others come in. And it gets crowded a lot of times. Maybe that significant other is questioning because of the way people do stuff. Like a lot of times people think, oh, they just insecure. Well, if you know you have friends that you hang out with, why didn't you mention that from the beginning? You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean like the beginning of the relationship, no. Because people got to get to know you, you got to get to know them. And you have to see what level of your relationship. But once y'all decide to get serious, oh no, this is my friend. I want you to know I hang out with them. I was doing this such and such. I don't want you to feel a certain way. Boom. And I don't think enough people do that. I think they try to hide their friends. You know what I mean? Which is why I made not the determination, but the distinction between a friend and an acquaintance. Because you can just know somebody. They don't necessarily like, we casually throw around the front. Oh, that's my friend. But you know you don't hang with them, or you don't know what the fuck's going on with their life or no shit like that. Y'all just speak when y'all come across each other. That's not a friend. That's an acquaintance. So it's like something entirely different. So does that answer your next question, Aaron? Because I see where it was going. I see the progression. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
let's go there.
Do you have female friends?
Nah, I don't even really have male friends. So no.
He don't like nobody. Aaron don't like nobody.
I mean,
tell you that he ignore people. Don't pick up his phone.
Listen, if we going by the hanging out status to create friendships, I don't really hang out with nobody.
We hang out every week, man.
Yeah, we hang out every week here. Like
we've been hanging out every week for a year now. We not friends.
You see how they feel about the parents, and then that's when he make his determination. Oh, you don't think it was the parents? Out of here.
I don't have female friends. I have acquaintances and I have family members. That's about it. I don't really have female friends. I don't really come to find out, like my kids didn't think I had any friends, period. They was like, you got friends. I think I was talking to them one time and I mentioned my friends. They was like, you got friends? I'm like, what? They're like, we didn't know you had friends.
You shocked.
Apparently to my kids, I don't have any friends.
Listen, man, you my friend, man. You my friend. tell him the barbershop guy, that's my friend.
No,
to them, they like, oh, he just know the owner of the barbershop. And then Mel is
with
just.
With that being said, over the years, you had a lot of acquaintances just from training.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was a lot of females training, a lot of females asking for help with this, a lot of females you was helping with their progression while they was figuring out whether they wanted to fight or not. And a lot of people on the outside looking at it like, oh, they must be friends. They talk all the time. You know what I mean? But you were acquaintance. So a lot of times people on the outside don't know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, or just because somebody shares your passion and they ask for help doesn't necessarily mean you looking to take advantage of it. Like a lot of people just think like relationships are all supposed to be physical. Like every relationship is not supposed to be physical. Everybody you come across, you ain't supposed to be like, oh, I could get this and I could get that. And a lot of men do think that way. Let's put that out there. A lot of dudes do think that way, and they got that kind of mindset.
A lot of we got to keep it even. A lot of females do too, but continue.
They do. Yep, it goes 50-50. But a lot of people think that every relationship revolves around the physical, and that's not true. And people, I personally think people do not have enough confidence in the person that they're with. Because if you with somebody and they introduce you to a friend of theirs, a family friend, somebody you knew for years, they hang out with or something like that. Now they introduce you to that person. If you care about that person, why would you think that person is going to backstab? You know what I'm saying? Like that person is automatically going to be a piece of shit, introduce you to somebody, and then go behind your back. Like, what does that say about your opinion about the person you're with?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
You gotta be like, for me, it's not necessarily the person that I'm with. I'm always paying more attention to the person that they introduce me to, whether it's male or female. Because watching their body language and their facial expressions, a lot of people can't hide their facial expressions. Like when you say something or when something happens, like seeing their body language and their facial expression, you could kind of tell like where they lean in, if they for y'all relationship, if they against y'all relationship, if they the type of person that's going to wait for that opportunity to, jump in there, wait for you to do something wrong, or that one friend that's introducing you to all her boyfriend, friends, and cousins and stuff. Y'all happen to go to a party where it's going to be a whole bunch of single dudes there, but you taking my girl. Like you could tell those type of people, like by the way they talk, the things that they say, the things that they don't say, the way that they react to stuff. So like, yeah, I could trust, my partner. I don't have to trust the person that they introduced me to. As I'm paying.
You don't trust nobody.
I don't, but
sounded like you lived it, man.
Listen, I'm paying attention to everything. I'm paying attention to everybody and everything, even when I'm not looking at you.
That statement sounded like something that was like a personal, like, yo, yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. So you gonna wear? Oh, okay. Who's gonna be there? Oh, all right.
Yeah, cool. All right, go. Let me know how it was when you get back. And then they're like, oh, it was so many guys there, and she introduced me. Like, yep, you can't be friends with her no more. Because now we know the type of person.
Yeah, that wouldn't even bother me though. Because I mean, you can either swerve the dude or you can't. I mean, or you don't. That's a choice.
Right. So that's
a choice.
That's what happens. Like, so even if your wife or your partner swerves all the dudes that come their way, but she got a friend that constantly puts her in situations where she has to do that. That's not.
You gonna crash one time.
Well, either that or she gonna come.
I don't agree with that.
No, even if she don't.
I don't
crash
agree
and
with
burn,
that.
Even if she don't crash and burn, she might come across one of them dudes that don't like
listen
for an answer.
Listen, there's always a dude that don't take that's like Mars Blackman that don't take no for an answer. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it with a tear in my eye and a smile on my face. If nobody else wanted the person that you with, you wouldn't want that person either. So
no, that's not.
There's always going to be somebody that approaches that person. You're not supposed to be upset about that. You're supposed to be chill. Like,
that's not the point. That's like saying I'm gonna be mad every time my girl go outside and somebody try to talk to her. That's completely different than every time she go out with her friend keep putting her in situations where she know dude's gonna try to talk to her. That's completely different.
Anytime she go out, somebody can talk to her. What do you mean that's completely different? It's not completely different.
It is. That's like
her friend might be single, so she going someplace where they have fun. So her friend know that side of her better than you. So her friend know where to go with her. So they know they going to the same thing. How you know your lady gonna like the attention? And then they just like gonna swerve all the dudes. She feel good because she swerved all them dudes. What's the problem?
This question for Mel and Ruben. If your wives know every time y'all hang out with me, I'm taking y'all around a whole bunch of half naked single women that's going to try to crack on y'all. You think your wife going to want y'all to keep hanging out with me?
First of all, I would never tell her that you're that type of friend. I am not that type of friend to tell my wife about.
Do you know where you living at? Every time you go out there, there's somebody that's like half naked, cracking on
That's
you
not
and
the-
stuff
that's
like
not the
that. I mean,
question,
that
though.
doesn't necessarily mean that you ain't shit or whatever. It just means like you single, you doing your thing. We
But
hanging out. So
that also means that I don't respect your relationship. If I keep putting
what
you
do
in
you mean that
situation-
means you don't respect it? How do you not respect it? We hanging out. We might want to just go to the bar and drink. Like we're not going to be
that's
nobody else going to be at
different.
the bar.
we could be like,
It's not totally different. Nobody else
It
is going
is.
to be at the bar. Nobody else is going to find somebody attractive and go say something. It's
all
about
right,
what
so,
you do
so
after that.
all my girl friends is single, and every time we hang out, I bring around all her single friends. That means that I don't respect your relationship enough. Us going out to a bar, we can't control who's at the bar. But if I keep putting you in situations where I know it's going to be single women that's going to crack on you,
It might be game night. What you
but we
mean? It
can't
might be
control
something
that
going
though.
on. Like
That's a situation that you
you
can't
might be
control. I'm
having a
talking about
homecoming thing, and then
All right,
you just
so
bought a
Mel,
house, so you got people over.
all right,
What
Mel,
does
put
that
it
have
this
to
way.
do? It's about what I do in that situation.
Put it this way, Mel. I'm in Florida. If I keep bringing you around a whole bunch of people that don't like black people, every time we hang out, I'm putting you in situations that are uncomfortable, and I don't respect your life because we could probably get killed every time we go out.
Well, first of all, that means you will get killed too because you're going in that situation. But however, if you just like a whole bunch of white people and they just don't like a big darker black man, I mean, I came to hang out with you. I don't give a shit about them.
Mel fighting to hang out with some half naked.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it in a legit way. Like, there's always going to be somebody that wants you. But you don't have to run with it, and then you don't have to be the catalyst because I want somewhere with you. Why you got to be the villain because I want somewhere with you?
I'm saying if I keep putting you in that
Wise man once said, "I like who likes me."
Well, I mean, and I've heard that before. But when you have somebody, that shit goes down the toilet. You can't have that. You can't go by that proverb. Nah. You know what I'm saying? But he doesn't have to be the
that's
villain
not
because
proverb.
he's
That was
saying.
a pervert. That was a pervert that said that. It wasn't a proverb.
That was somebody from 25th and Lehigh that said that. That's how it started. But we only got like 3 minutes. So quickly, let's do who's to blame for the insecurity that's brought into relationships. So they worry about friends.
Who's to blame for the insecurity in relationships? No, seriously though, it's the parents though. And the reason why it's the parents is because a lot of people don't grow up in households where it's this where it's a secure confident relationship. So, you take that from your childhood into your adulthood. So I blame the parents, unfortunately, just because the way you framed the question.
Okay, Ruben.
If you blame the parents on that one, do I kind of blame the government?
Whoever you blame, you're gonna blame them in 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
Nah, I mean, I think when it comes to that, it's the ground rules that you have set up from the very beginning of a relationship. So whoever failed to put the ground rules together in that relationship to saying, yo, this is how we're gonna operate, this is how we're gonna move, this is how we want things we want things to go. If you don't got a blueprint and ground rules and proper foundation, then whoever didn't make the step to set it up, that's who's to blame. The male or the female. And I want to say it's the male fault because they're typically the leader of that relationship, but it could also go for the female if she didn't properly, say what it is that she's expecting and things like that from the very beginning.
Okay, now I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you. A lot of these relationships now, it's not the male that's the leader. It's a lot of these relationships, the females are the leader too. It goes 50-50. Now, who do I blame? I blame trust. The trust that people have between each other in a relationship. I think I said before, I don't really worry about what happened BM before Mel. You know what I'm saying? But if you're telling me that a situation is a situation and that's your friend, they've been your friend, they've been there for you, I can't expect you not to be there for that friend or that friend to just disappear. Now, they may phase out with other responsibilities, but I can't expect that it's going to phase out. You know what I'm saying? But you're telling me, you're taking the time and explaining it to me and respecting me enough to tell me that, then I should respect you enough to believe what you're saying. Now, if it's not true, it'll show it'll rear its head at some point. But if it is true, I'm gonna believe you. I'm gonna believe you till you give me a reason to doubt you. So I want to thank everybody for joining us for Combustible Elements. I'm Big Mel. I'm joined by Ruben the Monarch and Aaron the Hitman. We out there on social media, all platforms. We look forward to talking to you. Hit us up. Come join us. Peace out.